Hello learners, I am Niro Amrelia and today I have prepared this video lesson on the topic of the theory of suicide, or rather as it is famously known as the theory of philosophical suicide, which is propounded by the famous absurdist Sir Albert Camus. Okay, so I am preparing this video lesson as a part of the program of the Teachers Day 2022. So right here on the 5th September 2022, we are celebrating the Teachers Day, and that is why I have prepared this video, and with hope that many students who are not aware of these things, that there are some theories that are related to suicide given by this absurdism and existentialist philosophers as well, like Friedrich Nietzsche. Friedrich Nietzsche is there like that. And so, as a part of this knowledge enriching process of the students along with the faculties, I am preparing this video lesson, and let us see what this theory is basically. So, first we have to keep in mind that Sir Albert Camus, Sir Soren Kierkegaard, Arthur Schopenhauer, and Sir Friedrich Nietzsche. So, these four were a kind of philosopher who focused on the topics like absurdity, or the absurdity of life, or the philosophy of absurdism. And especially Sir Friedrich Nietzsche, he focused on the theory of, or the philosophy of existentialism. Okay, so this absurdism along with this existentialism, they both are correlated in a sense. So here let us see what is the philosophical suicide, or rather the theory of suicide. So first we have to keep in mind that we are referencing the philosophical essay written by Sir Albert Camus. Sir Albert Camus in 1942. Pause it. Is it focused? Check it. Right. So as I told you that we are taking reference from the philosophical essay, The Myth of Sisyphus, which is written by Sir Albert Camus, and it was originally written in the French language, rather. The title of this French essay originally is Le Mythe de Sisyphe. Le Mythe de Sisyphe. So as it was published in 1942, then in that there are four chapters. So it is the very essay, The Myth of Sisyphus. It is divided into four chapters. So the very first chapter is the absurd reason. Remember with me, the absurd reason. The second one is the absurd man, and the third one is the absurd creation, and the fourth one is, as the title goes, that the myth of Sisyphus, or La Mythe de Sisyphe. So the line, or the very first line with which Sir Albert Camus begins his essay is that there is no but one truly serious philosophical problem, and that is suicide. So how suicide is dealt with in this essay, we will see. So according to Sir Albert Camus, there are three types of suicide, or rather there are three ways in which we can cope with, or we can deal with the absurdity which we find in life. So absurdity means what? There is no meaning. We don't find any meaning in life, right? So how far our thought capacity can go? Like we say, I believe in this, then the question will pop up in our mind if we are literally, or we are really that much thinking people. Like, then why? What is beyond? So this beyond is taken care of here. The word beyond. So whatever we are having right now, so there is still the possibility of having something more than what are we having right now. So this beyond is very well dealt with. So it questions the existing norms of the society, be it in the religious sphere, be it in the philosophical spheres, and be it in the political spheres as well. Here, now, not going in the further depth, let us stick to our topic, that is the topic of suicide. And Albert Camus, he was born in 1930, like it was the modern period in history, and in 1960 he lived till then. So perhaps you might have seen, so this timeline is very important. Why? Because this 1930, we know the very first World War occurred between 1940, in between to 1918 or 1919 it further there. So he was like a person that he was present there at that time. And the second World War that occurred, the timeline is the 1939 to 1945. So these two he saw, and that is why. So why these people are coming up with this theory of absurdism, this existential crisis, if I want to say, like Sir Friedrich Nietzsche is quoted as well, and even you find Jean-Paul Sartre, he calls that we are condemned to be free. That we are condemned to be free. So why? So this World War series, these two World Wars that went on in the earlier time, it propelled us some thinkers and writers to think in that way. So we have the dramatists in English literature like Sir Harold Pinter, Samuel Beckett, Waiting for Godot is very famous work by Sir Samuel Beckett, and the Birthday Party is also very cornerstone as the absurdist literature is concerned by Sir Harold Pinter. So it is also the timeline remains very important role to understand the things in better. So that is why the historical sense is needed everywhere. And now let us see what are these three ways to cope up with meaninglessness of our existence or of our life. So the very first thing is the physical suicide. That we find that many people who just get frustrated in coping up with the things in life. So they think, okay, there is nothing more in my life, there is no meaning, there is no reason to live, and there is no joy, no happiness, nothing, and then I have to kill myself. So it is called suicide or self-annihilation. Well, if you want to say in that way, then it is the one way to deal with this existential crisis or this meaninglessness of life. It is the physical suicide. Now, so it is the very first type. And now what is the second way? Is our very topic is the philosophical suicide. Now what philosophical suicide means is that suppose you are having a problem, but not rather, let us go into the mental section now. It was the physical one, that you are not getting something that that is helpful for your subsistence and or your survival things. So now you feel physical suicide. And then the second thing is that you are having some idea, let us say it is the religious idea, and you are not able to find the reason. Suppose somebody says that there is existence of God, or rather there is the God, and then you have to question on that if God is there or not, and if He is there, then who has seen that or who has experienced it? And now the answer comes nobody. So now this nobody is nothing but this absurdity. So this answer, the nobody, because then mysticism we always have seen that the mysticism means what? That there is nothing. We don't know anything. So something is there. But right now we are not finding the thing that what is there. Now we don't have any answer. Then now what we do? Generally people, those who want to get satisfied themselves, they will put God in place of nothingness. So this now the crux of the matter is that now the existence of God is questioned by these philosophers like Sir Friedrich Nietzsche especially and our Albert Camus. That they will question the existence and the reality of whether God is there or not. So it is the religious sphere. So it can be applied in political spheres as well. That somebody says that okay, this is this, and then now we have to counter question then what is the source? And now if the person gives that source, okay, this is the source, then we have to question the source as well. We cannot simply rely on the source. We have to dig a bit deep in order to know the things very well. And so it is the philosophical suicide I am telling is that when you stop thinking to the limit, when you stop thinking when up to reaching the limit, suppose that some thought is given to you and now you say, okay, till the time my thoughts can go, but now I am unable to think a bit more on them. So it is called philosophical suicide. But it is not generally that somebody who do philosophical suicide, somebody who does that philosophical suicide, that they stop thinking a bit further on any given topic. But now what happens? And now it does not mean that whatever is present, especially the religious dogmas or any ideologies, that we have to accept it or that person accepts. No, it does not matter. So there is a space between that, between this not accepting what is present and between this not thinking a bit further on what is present. So it is called the atheism. Generally people refer to it as atheism. So atheism means what? You don't believe the existence of God. Now it does not mean that you don't believe, you hate them. So it does not mean. So not believing it does not mean you hate them. Okay. And it is the thing. And now the third way to cope up with the problem of this meaninglessness of life is the accepting the absurd. So now we don't have but the way to accepting the absurd. So we know that this meaninglessness of life will continue for time immemorial. We don't know. So we have to accept the things and do the things which is necessary to live. So it is the thing. And now, so these are the three ways given by Sir Albert Camus in his book. Let me give you a reminder. The myth of Sisyphus, rather it is not the book, it is the philosophical essay. The myth of Sisyphus, and it was originally written in French language and it was published in 1942 under the title Le Mythe de Sisyphe. So we have discussed here that how one can cope up with this meaninglessness of life or this existentialist crisis. With these three ways, one has to deal with the things. So it is the first part, and next I am taking the same topic, that suicide, but with the reference of Sir Emile Durkheim's theory of suicide. So please stay in touch. Thank you so much. Hello, once again, it is the second part of my video, and in this we are referring to the theory, or rather to the types of suicide given by Sir Emile Durkheim, or many people will pronounce it as Sir Emile Durkheim. Well, both the pronunciation are deemed as correct, but literally the earlier one was kind of philosophical matter of suicide, which was dealt with, and it was propounded by Sir Albert Camus in his book The Myth of Sisyphus. And right now we are going in the field of sociology. So we all know that now it's the time of this multidisciplinary academics, and so these things are there, that sociology, literature, science, mathematics, engineering and botany and all kinds of things are interrelated, interconnected, and they deal with each other. So the new perspective can come to read the ancient text or the classic text with a new perspective, to understand the situations that are put in them in a better way. So this multidisciplinary aspect of academics is quite fascinating in this day. So right now we are just going in the field of sociology. And let me give you a brief intro about Sir Emile Durkheim. So he is not that much ambiguous personality, because everybody, the students of sociology, they will know that Sir Emile Durkheim, he is deemed as the seminal sociologist who believed to have just established this sociology as an academic discipline. He established the sociology as an academic discipline, along with Sir Karl Marx, who wrote the famous Das Kapital, the Capital, and along with Sir Max Weber, the fellow sociologist. And he is from France, along as the Sir Albert Camus was from there. So now, Sir Albert Camus dealt with this topic of suicide in his essay, philosophical essay, The Myth of Sisyphus, with references to his observation, philosophical observation. But now what happens if we look at this, this phenomenon, that is suicide, that why people commit it, or what makes a person to commit the suicide? Now then we say, okay, yes, there are some social reasons as well. So in that we will have to see the things. So Sir Emile Durkheim published a book which is named as Suicide. So it is the English name. Originally it was written in the French, and the French we will later on refer to the French title as well. So the English title of the book is Suicide, a Study in Sociology. So Suicide, a Study in Sociology, and it was published in 1897. So the earlier one was published in 1942. So it is the early book. Then this Albert Camus' first book, that is now this is published in 1897, and the French title of this book is Le Suicide, études de sociologie. Le Suicide, études de sociologie. So now from this book we are taking the reference that how suicide is a sociological phenomenon, along with the four types that are given by Sir Emile Durkheim in his book that we have referred to here. So let us go. And along with giving these four types, we here will compare the earlier discussed ways to escape from this problem of existential crisis or meaninglessness of life. So we will compare along with that these three ways with these four types. The very first type is this egoistic suicide. So the very first type is egoistic suicide. So let me count the four. First, the very first is egoistic suicide. The second one is altruistic suicide. Yeah, the altruistic suicide. Third one is anomic suicide. And the very fourth one is the fatalistic suicide. So now let us see all the four in a bit deeper level so that we can get better understanding of what they are and how they are, how they are taking place in nowadays, and it was there in the ancient times as well. So, and along with the reference of our earlier discussed topic, that is the way to escape from this existential crisis. And there are three ways, as Sir Albert Camus propounded. So, the very first way is this egoist suicide. So now what happens? So basically suicide, as we already referred to, is the process when one kills oneself due to several reasons. So there could be the reason that egoistic suicide, when it happens like alienation, that one feels oneself as an outcast or not loved or get cared by the fellow social members. So then one feels himself or herself as social outcast. So it is the type of egoistic suicide. So one gives very important to himself, oneself. So it becomes the then one thinks, okay, I am not like them, or either they are not like me. So the gap. So this gap causes the gap bases its cause on the reason of the suicide. It is the thing. Now, if we go into literature, we find the character of Raskolnikov from Sir Fyodor Dostoevsky, the Russian novelist. He wrote a novel, The Crime and Punishment. The Crime and Punishment by Sir Fyodor Dostoevsky, in which the protagonist Raskolnikov is also feeling the same thing, that the feeling of alienation is there. So he lives alone. Like he lives alone, he does not, just converse with people around him, around his family members. Nothing. He just wants himself to be locked up in a kind of just scenic place, or a kind of small space, room or other. And another character, like we have Harold Pinter's The Birthday Party. Harold Pinter, as earlier we referred to him as The Birthday Party, the drama. In that we have Stanley Weber. So he is also like in this Raskolnikov. So he feels, or he does not want to mingle with this social problem or social dynamics that is going on around him. So this happens sometimes, that one feels oneself that outcast, as an outcast from this society. So that one does not want to mingle oneself with them. So now that causes, okay, then why? See, hyper-egoisticism will be there. And yes, another thing we want to refer to is that Sir Carl Jung, the very famous Swiss psychiatrist, Sir Carl Jung, he propounded the concept, or he gave the concept of this two types of nature rather. This one is that, yes, extrovert and introvert. So now, who extrovert is that? The person who want to just mingle themselves with society outside or around them. So they cannot live without them. So they, in a way, they will find one or the other way to mingle or to just associate themselves with the society. So they are called extrovert person. So but now when it comes to the introvert personality, somebody who is having the personality within themselves, then they will feel I don't want to mingle with these people. For reasons can be so much different. So the hyper-egoisticism can be there. Lower self-esteem is also there. Then they feel, okay, I am not that much self-confident like them. So there are layers of reason. So one have to identify, especially in these legal procedures after one commits suicide. So these things are to be taken into account. And another thing, nowadays people are coming with this new word, that is ambivert. Ambivert, so we know this the MM, which is prefix. It is taken from the word amphibious. So we know who amphibious are. They can live either in the water, like the frogs, salamanders, and they will live on the grounds as well. So they are amphibious. So ambivert are like this. They are neither just extrovert nor they are introvert. So they are present at the both level, psychic level I am talking about, and they don't want to mingle sometimes with people, and they want to feel themselves in a kind of secret or small place where nobody can interfere. And the time comes when they will go outside to mingle with people with their choice, right? So this is the thing with this. So it can be one of the reasons of this suicide, egoistic suicide, when one gives more importance to oneself over the things or over the people around one. So it is the thing. Now, what is the second type? It is altruistic suicide. As the word altruism, it kind of parloidness we can say. So altruistic suicide happens when one is staunchly mingled with the society, or the society that believes in so and so norms and conventions are there. So for that, one dies, like one dies, and even if you go in Gujarat, there are people who will you will find. So I'm talking about historical aspect. That there are people who have died for the cause, like they wanted to save their cows, they wanted to save their especially the ladies, and the things were that the society deemed. So it is the act of courageousness. So it is the act of courage or bravery. So for that act, they have sacrificed themselves. So it is the altruistic suicide when one dies or even one sacrifices oneself for the causes that society believes is correct or is worth to die for. So it is the thing. It is the altruistic suicide that one undertakes rather. And now the third one is anomic. Now generally we find these people who are there in the army that we cannot call them. They have killed themselves, though they have gone deliberately with their own heart. Okay, we are gonna be killed on the field anytime. There is no certainty of life on the field when they are fighting with enemy country rather. For that political boundary, we want to say that only. And then they are doing altruistic suicide. So we will call them martyr. We cannot call them they have done suicide, but they are fall in the category of martyrdom. So it is the thing of altruistic suicide that you are dying for somebody, or for somebody, for such belief and for such dogma, for such a norm. So then one sacrifices oneself, then it falls into the category of this altruistic suicide. And now coming down to the third one is this anomic suicide. Well, so anomic suicide is nothing but the physical suicide that Sir Albert Camus was discussing in his myth of Sisyphus. We referred to that earlier. But anomic suicide is that one does not find the ample means to sustain oneself, or the ample means of survival, subsistence. So then it happens. There is anomic suicide. Like we have the majority of people, in India, nowadays it was there earlier. There were cases that many farmers, I will provide the link of that news article that many farmers were committing suicide. It was because they are perhaps one of the reasons it can be that they were not getting ample means to live or to survive further. So it is the anomic suicide when you are cut off from the means to let yourself live further, or to just do your subsistence in that manner. So it happens. So it is the completely physical suicide when you don't find any reason to live, or rather you don't get any means to live. So it is the anomic suicide. And the fourth one and very important one is the fatalistic suicide. The fatalistic suicide. So what is it? The fatalistic suicide happens when you put some people, or rather somebody, in a kind of very restricted rules and regulations. So that one feels, even one who is put in that field, in restricted norms and all the things are the rules that you have to be here only. You cannot, even you are not meant to go outside. So certain, even so you see here we cannot forget the aspect of feminism as well. So why these women had to rise in 1965 something. Yes, so this conclave I forgot that the very first meeting there. So especially women were tortured and were suppressed in the homes. So from being, I have studied some of these texts of this Gujarat region, Gujarat, India. So how the subjugation of the women are done by the men, by the patriarchal society. If you want to be proper on that, then we can say it's the patriarchy that subjugates women. Here we want to refer to that fatalistic suicide that I told you, as it befits in the fact with this feminine aspect, because female are the only entities that are generally subdued, or that are overpowered by, or rather dominated by, the patriarchal society and by the men. And this happens, this fatalistic suicide, that even one who is conditioned in such way that one starts believing, okay, I don't have any further reason to express myself, or rather I am not made to do things that are others are doing. I am only made to do the things that are told to me. So it is the very the lowest type of thing or thought process that one can have. And being under that pressure, and one finds oneself that, especially ladies I am talking about, when they find, okay, I am unable to, I am barren. that I cannot give birth to child, and now how the other people will react to me, how will they see me. So then one commits suicide. So it is especially in the case of women, because women generally are expected to come up with child. In the patriarchal family, and if we being more specific on that, these all the family members, they will accept a boy, baby boy on them. So this is the way when the baby boy does not come, or one feels, the female feels that okay, I am unable to just give birth to any child, then one she perhaps commits suicide. And now science is telling us that it is not the women who is the reason, who are the reason to not give the birth, but there are men. So the chromosome thing we know, X and Y. And the fatalistic suicide is that when one is conditioned in such a way, then one feels that okay, I have failed to stand up to the expectation which was whatever was expected from me. Then this happens. So then this suicide, and it is the lowest type of suicide. So according to with this social context, I have discussed these 4 types propounded by Sir Emile Durkheim. Along with we drew a parallel of this Albert Camus theory of suicide, which is rather known as the philosophical suicide. So today's topic was like this. With this, I just want to end my video session here, and thank you for being here, and I hope it will be knowledge enriching for everybody. Any question, then put. I'm providing my email here. You can check it out in the description box, and I'm uploading this on my TED platform as well. So please appear in quiz, and after that discussion and dig deeper and submit your response, and you will get an automatically generated e-certificate or from the quiz that you are appearing in from this video. And thank you so much, and thank you for being there. Thank you, sir.